Well, we'll just start here with Convoy. We started using Convoy oil just as soon as the year that Conklin came out with it, and it just it prevents wear. You know, parts don't wear. Parts may break, but they won't wear out. We like the extended drains. Like the skid steer that just left, the last oil analysis on that oil was in there for over 1,000 hours. And I'll show you the oil analysis report here after a bit. It's just like a new engine. It's just fantastic. Some people will listen and some won't. Well, actually, some people listen and not do anything. And then other people listen and say, gee whiz, you know, wish I knew about this 20 years ago. You know, it's all up to the individual. And you fellas know I'm not a salesman. I don't want anybody to consider me a salesperson. I don't have to. The products sell themselves. And if a person takes a hold of it, they're going to save time, save energy, and save money. If they don't want to save those three things, our product's not for them. And I realize there's so much competition out here. And really, oil is kind of a, how do I want to say it? Well, my grandpa used brand X oil, and my dad did too, and that's what I'm going to use. Well, that's fine, you know. Other people say, God, I wish Grandpa would have known about this, or wish we'd had it when Grandpa was living. So it's a difference in people. But we've got the records here to prove what these products will do. And we'll look at paper records here. You've heard them run, you've looked at the hour meters. It's all here, and they just continue to put on hours.
Well, I was asking Buddy this morning about the Convoy and when he started using it. He bought the tractor in 1970, and within 4 years he started to use the TKO, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And
with John Deere oil.
With John Deere oil, yes.
And I bleed green.
So I guess it's really a true test here, because we used conventional oil for 4 years, right? Yeah. And then when you went to Convoy, you went...
See, it was conventional oil really for... I think Convoy came in 77, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. We used conventional oil till Convoy was coming on the market.
So my point here is we already had some engine use here, see? We're talking 4,000 hours.
Probably 6.
6?
Yeah. And
then you got finally switched completely over.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking 6,000 hours, and folks, I've overhauled 4020s with 6,000 hours on it. Major overhaul. So, I mean, I just made a remark here a little bit ago that how many places across this country can actually stand here and talk about something like this? I mean, it's amazing. It really is. And when you look at it, you look at drawbars it's went through, you look at the hour tach meters it's went through. And here we are, folks. It's still here, still running, and so I'm just amazed too, Bud. I know when you introduced Convoy to me, well, I wasn't too sure about it, you know, and still, and I took my chance. I started using it in my big van I had, and then later on I got into some things here that really speaks for itself.
Convoy is just one of the things we use. We use a total Conklin program, which includes Diesel Plus, and I feel this is the reason that Rosa Master pump is still on there, because of the lubrication abilities with the Diesel Plus. And before Diesel Plus was Fuel Mate. And then a couple times a year we'll run some 4-Power through. That's a super cleaner. Keeps the engine clean, keeps the deposits down.
The 4-Power, I was out to a farm one day, and it's been a little while ago, and I talked to the customer and I said, hey, I want you to try a can of this and put it in your fuel tank. It was a John Deere. And I said, you run it. So he ran it, and I got a telephone call on down the road, and he says, hey, I don't know about this. He says, my engine is not running right whatsoever. It's erratic, and it sounds like it's got a miss. And my reply to him was, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. It's doing its job. I said, you continue running it, it'll clear up. He never called me back. So this is an example of what 4-Power is doing. What it was doing was removing the varnish. That's what it was doing. And of course they get probably in the tips of your injector, and eventually it'll go through.
And once in a while we have to use a little rust balm or some Luboil. You know, if we got a pin sticking or something, well, I just keep them lubed up. And those two products there are so handy when you're working on something. We found if you squirt Luboil on those sealed bearings, that'll keep that seal soft so it can grip the shaft and keep the dirt out. And if you don't keep that seal soft, then it's eventually going to get hard and crack or shrink. Then the dirt gets in, your sealed bearing will fail. But if you can keep that seal in good shape, that sealed bearing will last for years.
Also hold the grease. That's in the bearing.
Right, it'll hold the grease that's there. And definitely Rhino grease for all the bearings. Years ago we used to constantly lose front wheel bearings on these hills, especially with our wagons, but with tractors too. The wheel bearings in this tractor is original because of the Rhino grease.
And the Rhino grease, Buddy mentioned about the wheel bearings in the front of this tractor. I was never into this wheel bearings in this tractor, so therefore I've never been into the seals.
That's right.
The seal protection of the grease. And so this is all original, guys. It's all original. So I wanted to point that out.
I'm glad you did, Galen. That's very important. And of course, you know, any of you fellows that's going to show this video or give it to someone, definitely need to show them the Dike demo and how Dike works. It's just an amazing product, and people just shake their head and they can't understand how it works, which that's understandable. And Mr. Conklin, Uncle Harry Conklin, made sure that nobody understood how it works because he didn't patent it. So nobody knows. They can take it apart, but they don't know how to put it together. Safe is just an amazing product. It keeps the cavitation down, keeps your liners clean, the whole inside of your engine clean. So easy to use. You don't need a test strip or anything. Just puts the proper amount in twice a year, and it just goes to work. It just works. Before Safe, the hose would get hard and they'd crack. Not with Safe.
And you're telling me that hose has been on there since 1970?
Probably 70, I'm going to say 76 maybe.
Since 76?
Yeah.
So we're talking over 40 years on that hose.
Yeah. If the hose is going to last much longer, what about the seal in the pump? It's made out of rubber too.
Okay.
See?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a good lubricator. It lubricates the seal, keeps it soft. So there's another good point about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so many thousands of dollars that we're spending needlessly, really,
Right.
if we would just use the product.
Yes,
Right.
that's right. Well, you know, when we bought this tractor, power shift was kind of something new. I think Ford had Selecto Speed back at that time. I think most people called them Jerkomatics, if I remember right. Well, the fellow that developed that power shift for Ford went to work for John Deere and made a few changes, and that's how John Deere, I say we because John Deere's part of us, like Conklin is, that's how they happen to have a power shift. But it was unheard of back then. Most farmers didn't want a power shift because it's something new, but gosh, it only cost $500. And we thought on these hills, you know, why stop the shift, you know? The only thing that we've done with that power shift, and Galen will tell you, we've replaced 2 discs. Other than that, the power shift is original. It don't. Battalion, and once a year we put Enduro in.
This tractor done the wagon work, pulling in silage. And you can tell as you guys drove in here about the hills. And so that's how this happened. And when I get into this tractor, I always like to go a little deeper and pull another disc. And there's nothing wrong with this disc at all. And the reason why I do that, because I actually show you, you know, what the product is doing. You look at the surface on this disc, there's no wear whatsoever on this disc. The rest of this in this transmission look just like this one. There's nothing wrong with it. They're still in there. And this is the only reason I got into this transmission.
How many hours did it have on it, Galen?
You
That
know,
was around 19,000 hours.
19,000.
What would you normally see?
Oh,
Gosh, you had that.
I would say if you get 12,000 out of a transmission without any problems, you're doing real good. So it contributes to the oil. It's used in this battalion, yes.